Alright guys, this week's lap guide has us at historic Monza. Let's take a look at what we've got. As we come down the front stretch here, what I'm looking for is this 200 board. Braking right at the 200. Basically, as I see it go out of my peripheral, I start getting on the brakes. You can see that I'm on my brakes fully here. So off the gas, on the brakes, and you're doing maximum braking all the way down. All the way down until turn in. Do a fairly late turn in here. And we're going to use every bit of this curb. And I do mean every bit of it. This is about as much as you can take without going and getting a 1x and even a slowdown. In practice, I struggled quite a bit with trying to not get a slowdown while taking as much of this curb as possible. I'm pretty confident this is all you can do without getting that slowdown. So, using up all of this curb though, what it does is it opens up the entry for the next half of the chicane. When you do that, you can use up all of this. This is actually too much. You really want to be out here on the red, white, and green, not over here. So it delays my throttle, as you can see here, so until I'm pretty much off of the curbing, at which point I'm on it, and then towards the curb grande. Let's go ahead and take a look at that from in-car at full speed. Make sure you hug the inside line here. It doesn't seem to cost much time if you drift out, but there's no reason to give somebody an easy in. So as we come up to the first chicane here, or actually second chicane here, I'm looking for the 200 board. I'm not braking at the 200, but what I'm doing is driving past it to between the 200 and the bridge. I don't have a real firm spot that I'm braking at. Basically somewhere in between. Usually just as I go past it, I'm off the gas and use the brakes. So yeah, just after it's when I'm getting on the brakes. Nice heavy braking again. We're going to get the car slowed way down. This chicane, it feels like I can take it faster than I really can. What you can do is you can go in too fast and end up basically overdriving the first half of the chicane, which gives you a bad line for the second half of the chicane, which is where all your speed is. So you want a good line out of there so that you can use up all of the road here and get a good run to the Lesmos. This turn's actually not that great on this lap. My best is a fair bit better, but this was what I got on the lap that I set my best lap on. So take a look at that again. As you can see, I missed the actual apex here by quite a bit. Normally I would be more over here, almost to the point I've had my right sides up on this this inside curbing. I would actually have them just outside the white line here. That's what I'm doing most laps. Like I say, this time I missed the apex here, but still tried to hug left so that I had a good line here. Use all of this, try to avoid the orange here. Always avoid these orange ones. They're big and they will upset the car pretty badly. So used up all of the red, white, and green here, and out to the exit curbing here. You can go all the way out. There's no real advantage out here. It's going to be real bumpy. It's gravel. So stick to the red, white, and green. coming up to the Lesmos here. This is another spot where I don't exactly have a firm braking point. What I'm actually doing is paying attention to my revs here. What you'll see is that when it gets up here and hits the limiter, that's basically where I'm going to start braking. So a late-ish apex, what you want to do is get turned in late here so that you can get a good run between them. As you can see, I'm pretty much fully on throttle and at my apex right here at this access road. Again, all the way out, all the way across this, all the way onto the AstroTurf. I actually took it pretty conservative this time. Most of the times I'm all the way out on the screen. One thing though you do want to keep in mind is you want to be back on track before you get here. 2 reasons. One, you got to get set up for the next one. You also don't want to get the 1x from being off-road here, so try to keep that in mind. We'll go ahead and watch that again at full speed. I mean, if anything, I actually drove it out onto the rumble strip that time. So for the second Lesmo, I'm again waiting until it hits the limiter here in 3rd gear. It's basically the best thing I've found for timing for it. So once it hits the limiter, then I'm off, start braking. Basically good hard braking. You want to get slowed down again early for this one. That way you can get a good run off. You can use this curb. I've found it upsets the car a bit much for my liking, so I tend to avoid it a little bit. Use as much of the road as possible. Again, all the way out to this exit. You can go all the way out here and use this. Most of the times I do. Again, I took it actually pretty conservative this lap. So use all of this red, white, and green. Use all this AstroTurf. Just make sure you're back on before you get to this stuff. Big bump out here that you really don't want to hit. It doesn't upset the Audi terribly, but there's no point in hitting it when you can be on smooth pavement, accelerating more smoothly. Also, you want to avoid the grass, obviously. Kind of starish game here. Again, I'm looking for the 200 and this gantry here. Again, another one of those things where I don't have a real firm braking spot. Basically, between the 200 and the gantry is where I start to brake. A little bit closer to the gantry than 200, probably somewhere around 150 meters, 175, 150. This is another slow it down more than you feel like you should to get the car turned in. When you get it turned in, you want to be all the way over on these rumble strips, but avoiding these big inside curbs. Again, these are going to upset the car quite a bit, cause it to bounce. You want to make sure that you hold a tight line through here so that you can get set up for the next third of the Ascari. Because you want to get all the way over here. Basically, you want to be in this area so that you've got a good entry to the final portion of the Ascari. This time I actually took it a little bit too close. You can see that I get the curb and it upsets the car. It's not terrible, but I wouldn't go any further than that. And what I've been doing here is hold the line tight here. Avoid this. This will give you a 1x if you get too much of this. And then I breathe the throttle here to get the nose set and the back end steadied. Use all of the red, white, and green curve here. And then hard on the throttle and let the car float out here across this onto the AstroTurf. This is racetrack and this is racetrack as far as iRacing is concerned, so you're not going to get 1x's. You can use a little bit of the grass here and here. Again, neither one's going to give you 1X's, so just this is pretty much a normal line through here. And then I just ease it across the track from the parabolic here, and just ease it over. What I've been doing here is past the 200. Right in this vicinity is when I'm going to start letting off. So just before I get to this white, what would appear to be a timing line, is when I start to get on the brakes. And the parabolic actually seems to be a little bit faster corner than I expect. So what I've been doing is turning in under my braking, get the car set into the corner, and as I coast down to the curbs. Once I get to the curb, you can see I'm already pretty well on the throttle. I carry a good bit of maintenance throttle, then just start picking it up really quickly. Let the car just pull in on the parabolica, and then you can use all of this. You can actually get a little bit on the AstroTurf. It doesn't really gain you any time, but you definitely run the risk of getting a 1X and even a slowdown. So make sure you stay more on this than on the AstroTurf. Use every bit of it. Gives you as wide of an exit as possible, which is going to give you the maximum speed. All the way across the line. And that is a lap of Monza. Let's go ahead and watch that in car for the entire lap.